Good afternoon. My name is Ria Cotton-Landry, and I am the second vice president of the Women's Council of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and happy to welcome you to another episode of our Women in Business CEO Growth Series. It's part of our professional women in business in real estate series, and we are focused this year on CEO growth. And so we have with us today Sharon Henry, part of Women's Council. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you, Madam Ria. How are
Thank
you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, we're happy to have you here because today we are talking about branding and the face of our brand and how to build our brand. And so we have no one other than Sharon who has amazing social media content to help us navigate what that looks like for us. So before we jump into what it is to brand ourselves in real estate or really in any industry, can you tell us a little bit about your professional background, Sharon?
Sure. Been in the real estate industry now for 23 years. That just went by. And so over 2 decades, and I still feel like a little baby, right? But I'm currently serving as one of our I live in Georgia. So
Mm.
Cobb County is one of the largest counties here in Georgia, and I'm serving as one of the housing commissioners here in Cobb County. And I've served at NAREB and to our local chapter here. I was the Empire Board President for 2016, 17, and 18. And then I became the Regional Vice President for Region 6, which is comprised of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And for the record, I am the third person that ever served in 85 years, 3 consecutive presidency in a row. So I'm really
Okay,
proud of
okay. Okay, yes. That is
that.
those are big shoes to fill, just having that leadership role. So I can definitely
Yes.
respect that.
Thank you. And personally, I'm married. I have 2 amazing children, and I have a bonus son as well. And my wonderful husband, along with my grandbaby, and depend on the replay. And when they listen to this, I might have another grandbaby because there's one on the way.
Oh, congratulations. That's
Thanks.
exciting.
Thanks.
Are any of your children in real estate or is it just you?
Technically, yes and no. Okay, they buy a lot of real estate, but
Oh, hey, that is in real estate.
yeah, in my real estate, my daughter's she never took her test. She studied for real estate, but in when she was in California, but she was like, this is really not for me. My son
Mhm.
did the same thing. He was like, Mom, I can make more money if I buy versus if I'm on the selling side. But my daughter-in-law, she does hold a license, yes.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Good to see that your children are investing. That is, I think, the intricate, I think, part of real estate. One thing that I tell agents too is like you're in this to acquire assets and create your legacy. So it's not just selling. So
Yes,
they're
and
on the
building
right.
other
They're
people's,
definitely
yeah,
on the
building
right.
other people's wealth, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, in part of you being in the real estate industry, I see that you have amazing social content, but we're talking about branding today. And I know that branding goes beyond social media and content, right? Because all of our branding and visibility prior to social media really had to do a lot with you and how you interact with people, not just how you show up on social media. So, I just want to start off by asking you, what does being the face of your brand truly mean? And first of all, is it important to be the face of your brand?
So, yes, okay. Prior to me going to our new company where we are now at EXP, we had a company prior to that, and I have 2 partners, Michelle and Tori, which you guys know. And being the brand in the company is one thing, right? So, as real estate professionals, and I'm talking to all my real estate professionals, right? So, as the owner of the company, it was one thing, branding the company. But if you do not own your company, your brokerage, you need to be branding you, right? And even with that, the person is not going to be looking for Ria's real estate brokerage. They're going to be looking for you, right,
Mhm.
as a person. So, along with branding your company, if you're a entrepreneur and you're an owner for the company, that's one thing because you need two sets of branding, and this people don't understand that. It messes them up because who are you as an individual, right? When you're
Mhm.
out and you're talking to people, they're going to remember your name. Your name is the best thing that you have going for you. And people don't understand that. I try to tell our agents and my mentees first thing you need to do is purchase your name.
Mm.
Purchase your name. You need to get your name from GoDaddy or wherever you buy your domain. You purchase your name because nobody's not going to remember Sharon Sells Atlanta. No, they're going to remember. I met this girl named Sharon Henry. So I'm going to go and Google her. I'm going to try and find her, and they're going to be looking for you. So your name is very important, and your face and being consistent, right? When you're branding you, you're not all over the place, right? When you go to my social media area, what can you tell from my social media? Can you tell that I sell real estate?
Definitely. Definitely. The real estate is front and center.
So when you go to a lot of people's social media, you have no idea what they're selling,
Mm.
and that's not good.
Mhm.
Okay. When you go to my page, you can see that I sell real estate. I have a family. I think I'm not so serious, but maybe because I think I'm funny and quirky, and I don't, take myself too seriously. And if you know me or if you get to know me when you go to the page, you'll see that, right? I try to inspire and motivate others because I've I know I'm going through it. Somebody else is going through it. And
Mm.
all my quotes and all my phrases and everything that I put on social media, I'm talking to myself first. Okay.
Right.
And I'm trying to make sure that I talk to someone else and uplift someone else. And I love the Lord. Okay. I'm a cussing Christian, and everybody knows that knows me, but me and him, we got a weird relationship and we got something going on over there. But if you go to my page, you see that, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of times people think that they ask me all the time, what do you post? What should I post? I don't want to post this because I don't want to be too personal. If you go to my page, do you see there's a difference between personal and intimate?
Mm. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I
There
understand that.
is a difference between personal and intimate. And I
Mm.
want you I tell people this when I'm teaching them something. If you invite me over to your house, Ria, when you invite me to the house, sometimes I'm outside, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to get comfortable with me to invite me inside,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then when you invite me inside, are you taking me straight to your bedroom?
Right. No.
No.
You
I'm going
can't
to
even
be
go upstairs.
right. So I'm going to be either in the kitchen or the living room, right?
Right.
So think about social media like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I definitely agree. I think that just in doing social media over the years, there's been a lot of connection to community for me because they've followed my journey and things that I've gone through with my children. My children don't like it always sometimes because they're
Yeah.
like, somebody
They
walked
hate
up
it.
to me and said, "You're Ria's daughter or Ria's son," congratulations or on something, but they call me Kris Jenner because
Yeah.
I'm exploiting them. But
I don't care.
it
Yeah.
really is a connection that the community has, and to hear, like you said, to your point, to hear some that you're going through something and you were able to connect and inspire. It goes beyond your industry or your career. It's actually impactful and purposeful. And if you're about purpose in your life, then you are actually not only working, but inspiring as well. So I definitely agree with that.
And just the same way you just said about community, right? No one wants to be sold to.
Hmm.
Nobody. Okay. So if you're doing the right thing, you're in your community, you're connecting with people, and you're doing things in the community and you're showing that, right? And that doesn't mean that every single thing that you do, you need to show somebody. Like if you're donating some food to somebody, you don't necessarily have to, show that, right? Because sometimes some things need to be private, right?
Right.
But you're doing back to school events, you're helping the seniors, you're cleaning up the yard, helping beautify your community, things like that. Yeah, show that because it's showing that you care about this community that you're trying to get business from. Okay.
Hmm.
And then that's a difference. Now, if you helped a single mom to pay her light bill, don't go blowing that up on social media. Don't
Mm,
don't put her business out there. So
right.
there's a difference, right? Even if you do decide to pay 10 people's utility bill, you can talk about the fact that you want to pay 10 people's utility bill because you never know who's listening or who needs you to pay the utility bill. But after you pay the utility bill, you don't go say, well, I just paid Mrs. Grant's utility bill. There's a difference. You see what I just said right
Hmm.
there?
Right. Yep.
Okay. So you're doing things, you're helping the community, you're making an impact, but you're not exploited.
And so I think that goes to the point of building trust because I think if people work with you, they want to know that you're not going to exploit them on social media when they entrust you. So, how do you build trust with your audience before asking for the business?
Oh, you educate your audience.
Hmm.
You help them. I believe, and I tell people this all the time, you build relationships before you need them, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's a big thing for me. And you give 7 times before you ask. So I'm always giving. Just a natural giver because I'm a servant. I just give, 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 give because that's just my personality. But when I pick up the phone and I call you, be sure that I expect something in return when that's the relationship because I put in the money, I've deposited. So if I call you and I say, hey, Ria, I'm having a back to school event, right? But I've been
Hmm.
supporting you and your business. Say you're a lender. I've been supporting you and your business for years. And now I'm having a back to school event. Now it's time for you to, return that favor because
Hmm.
now I'm going to ask, hey, can you bring me 100 book bags?
Hmm.
Can you bring me some pens? Can you bring me some pizza? Whatever that is, right? Because I've given already before I'm expecting.
Hmm.
You get me?
Definitely. Yes, yes, totally makes sense. And so, I guess after building trust, I see that you have on your social media thousands of followers on your pages, but there are some people that just feel invisible in the industry. They're trying to like get out there, but they don't feel like, it's like imposter syndrome where it's just like, oh, what do I need to do to grow? Do I need thousands of followers? So, what advice would you give to someone that just feels invisible in the industry?
First of all, we've all been there. I've
Hmm.
been there. 22 years in the industry, and I have been there. Still go through that, right? So you've never like overcome that. I don't care what nobody tells you. Okay, you've never overcome that. But my advice is just do it. Be consistent, and it doesn't matter if one person like it, nobody likes it, or 1,000 people like it. You have no clue because and you have no idea how it's even going to land. So it's not about that. Focus on your audience, your target audience. Don't speak to everybody. You need to speak to one person. So
Hmm.
are you trying to speak to that single mom that's going through something? Okay. And does she need a house? Or are you trying to speak to you? Maybe you're a divorced individual and you want to speak to someone that's going through that.
Hmm.
And a lot of times people don't think that they have anything to talk about. You have a lot to talk about. You have a life experience, right?
Hmm.
Excuse me. You have so much to talk about. So stop being scared and just be consistent and post about the things that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
People, why does it look easy with if you go to my social media? Because I actually live that life. I'm not making it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I'm going for a walk with my husband, I take a picture and I know it drives him crazy, but I'm like, hey, me and babe go for a walk this morning, and I'll put it on my story. So that's another thing. Not everything should live on your page.
Right. And
Some
everyone,
things,
yeah. Yeah, and everyone has, I think, unique things about them. That's one thing I share with a few of my agents. I have one that has a nursing background. And so it's just like, the health of your finances, like, really building on. I had another agent who was a caregiver for her mother. It's just like there's other people like that that
yeah,
may need an ADU or some type of living situation where your parents have, easy access into the house.
correct.
There's so many different ways to tell stories that can relate and roll into real estate. Do you find that it's important for you to story tell throughout, let's say, a transaction?
Sometimes, right?
Mhm.
And that's really good because stories bring your audience in.
Mhm.
Okay. So in a transaction, and you have to be very, very careful with that, right? Because
Right.
you're telling a story, but you're trying not to tell the people's business, if you
Right.
understand what I'm saying, right? So you just don't focus on the individual, focus on the situation and see because there must have been a problem for them to come to you, right? For them you to solve that problem,
Mhm.
whether it's first time home buying or they're downsizing or upsizing, whatever that situation is. But you find the problem, you state the problem and tell them the solution and how did you resolve it, right? Because that's good without telling Mr. Smith's business by saying that, he was in bankruptcy and his credit score was 300 when he got to me, and now I got him to a 750 and they bought their dream home.
Right, right. No, that is so true. I'm like, when I think about that all the time, and I'm like, I would be scared to work with that person. Like, they're just gonna tell all my
All
business.
your business, yes, so you don't do that, right?
Right, right.
You would spin it something like, I'm so happy to welcome Mr. and Mrs. Smith they're the newest homeowner to Georgia. They
Mhm.
have been they've been through some things and I've tried to buy a home several times and now they finally got here, or something.
Right,
But don't go talking about you had to get them from a 300 to a 700 score. Don't do that because
right.
not cool unless you're doing credit repair or something and then you're having permission to tell all their business. And that's another thing, you cannot tell people's business on social media unless you have permission from them. Okay.
Exactly.
And I need you guys to listen to that very, very carefully. There, half of my clients I don't talk about them on social because
Hmm.
I have to have that permission slip to be able to do that. There's so
Right.
many transactions that I've done and I won't even post on social about them because I don't have the permission to do so because not everybody wants your business out there.
Definitely, definitely. And so, and speaking about just, we're speaking about our voice on social media, but just in general, at what point did you realize that your voice had an influence within your career?
Ooh, okay. So the crazy part is um, doing the short sale era.
Mm.
I started going places and people would recognize me, as you said, the kids, you would say, hey, you're Ria's daughter or whatever. I would go places, and especially at NAREB, when I came to conferences and stuff, agents would come up to me and they'd be like, hey, you're the queen of short sale. They didn't know my name. They
Oh,
was just saying, hey, you're the queen of short sale, Cobb County short sale. I was like, okay. And so I started noticing that people would know that about me and different places that I would go. And then people started inboxing me about short sales or that they
hmm.
have a situation or they're facing foreclosure. and they saw that I was able to give some resources on social media. And that was kind of interesting to me. But again, people, they don't press the like button, they don't comment, but they'll inbox you or they'll call you. And that's what you want. You want to
Right.
take that off of social, right? And even if someone comments on your post, you don't want to keep it going out there. You want to ask permission and go into the DM, into the inbox, and talk to them and take it offline.
Hmm.
That's the key.
So, some people are in the real estate industry and consider themselves introverts, right? So, how important is public speaking and building authority in real estate, do you feel?
It's very important. Okay. And you could be an introvert, extrovert at the same time. And I know that sounds really weird. All right. But most people, when they meet me, they don't believe me when I tell them that I don't like to public speak. I
Mm.
don't.
Mhm.
It's like, I'd rather go to the dentist. Okay. Um, I just feel all of these butterflies and it never fails every single time. What it doesn't matter if I'm doing it 10 million times, going on stage or talking to people, I get really, really nervous. So it's important, but at the same time, you're talking to one person. Just think about that one person that you're talking to. And yes, you're publicly speaking to that person, but just focus on that one individual, not 1,000 people. Did that help?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
so, yeah, yeah, definitely. So getting rid of those butterflies. And then the fact that we're on social media and can record kind of helps with those big audiences, but
Yeah.
definitely focusing in versus thinking about the hundreds of people that may be viewing you if you're on a
Watching.
public if you're on a public platform.
Can
Um,
I say something else too? I want people to think about. If you don't do it, what do you think about the fact that what opportunity are you missing? Right?
mhm,
What does your bank account look like? What would your family life look like if you actually did these things? Why do you care what someone else is thinking? Okay. The way that the algorithm is, half of the people that's on your social media anyway, they don't get to see your page. Stop thinking about that.
mhm,
Stop overthinking it and just
mhm.
do it and be consistent with it. Okay. Because you're always thinking about, oh my God, what is that person going to think? Or, oh my God, who cares? Okay. Because are they paying your bills?
Right. Right. And it's definitely I'm like just set it and forget it, right? Just if you're doing a recording, you know what information you're getting out there. And at the end of the day, this is who you are, you know?
Yeah.
And you have to be, I feel, very comfortable in who you are to communicate to others because they're going to trust in you at the end of the day. So you want them to definitely have confidence. And so for those that maybe not public speaking, what platforms do you believe are most important for thought leadership right now? What are your top?
So it all depends.
Right.
You have to figure out who's your audience, your avatar, right? You'll
Hmm.
hear people say, "Oh, you've got to figure out your avatar. You've got to figure out your audience," and it's true, right? Because am I speaking to 30-year-olds? Because maybe that's my audience. Maybe I'm targeting, the young people to purchase homes. Or am I speaking to the baby boomers, okay? That the older generation. Now you're getting to the second half of your life, you either downsizing or you're doing a 55 and older community. Who are you speaking to? So that depends.
Hmm.
Now, younger folks, they're all on Snapchat, they're on TikTok, they're on Instagram, all of that good stuff. My age, which I'm 57, we live, for me, I live on Facebook. I live on Facebook and I live on Instagram. Okay.
Hmm.
Those are my audience. And also depends on the professional people that I'm targeting. I'm on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
So again, right? Do I have all of these things connected in some ways because there are different apps that you can do to get that. You post on one, it posts on something else and it connects it, right? So you're not all over the place. The same thing with TikTok. Do I live on TikTok? No. Am I over there sometimes? Yes. Do I get a lot of views over there? Yeah, but I don't have time, right? So you've got to figure out where your audience is. Should I be on LinkedIn more? Absolutely. Because the people on LinkedIn, it's about their business. So each platform, and we can spend hours on this, Ria, because
Hmm.
each platform is different, right?
Right.
And it
No, very
depends on the audience that you're trying to do and what you're trying to do. Now, for me, Facebook is my baby because that's where my people are. That's
true.
where my audience are. Now, 22, 3 years in the business, I'm selling the people that I sold houses 20 years ago, now their kids' houses. So
Hmm.
they see me on Facebook and their kids see me on IG.
Right, right, right. Very, very, there is a distinction as far as generations on the social media platforms. And to the point with LinkedIn, I wasn't doing as much in LinkedIn, but I knew I had to create content. And so I do very static content on LinkedIn, but I started hearing more and more individuals say, "Oh, I saw you were here from LinkedIn." And then I kept
Mm-hmm.
hearing from LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, so I know that's working because, LinkedIn is not as interactive. You can't get the full aspect of
Right.
who you are because the videos are limited. It's more static. But
Yes.
that consistency on LinkedIn definitely helps with visibility and branding for sure.
But you know what? It's another thing that most people don't do, which I got my last two clients from Google.
Mm, Google search.
Google. Yes,
Hmm.
Google, right? Because AI and everything that's all pulling stuff from Google.
Right.
And I want to give somebody, if you're listening to this, I want to challenge you with something. Ask your AI, your Gemini, whatever it is that you use, ask them about you.
Right.
I want you, I was literally on our way to the airport. Our son was taking us to the airport and he asked his Tesla about me and it blew me away. Blew me away. I
Yeah.
posted it on one of my on actually all of my social media pages what that particular AI had to say about me. And
Hmm.
I was blown away. I was so impressed. I was like, who's that girl? Because I want to hire her, you know? But it's what is out there about you? What is on Google? What is out there that the AI are pulling? Because that's where they're pulling it from. Or
Right.
do you have your reviews? Do you have your Google reviews? Do you have your Realtor.com reviews? Do you have your Zillow reviews? Do you even have a website?
Hmm.
Ria, you know how many people that I meet on a weekly basis? And the first thing, and when you give me your card, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look you up.
Hmm.
I do. I'm going
Right.
to look you up and I'm going to connect with you. I go to your website, there's none. I go to social media, I can't even tell what company you work for.
Hmm.
I can't even tell if you're a realtor or not. I don't know what it is that you're selling. I have no idea.
Right.
Right. So, what you have a digital footprint, whether you know it or not. But what exactly is it? Is it one that you want, or is it one that's just there because it's telling a story about you, one
Hmm.
way or the other? So, is it
Definitely.
the story that you want?
Exactly. I just spoke to a property manager um, colleague, and she said that a recent referral, she usually gets business by referral, but someone called her outside of a referral, and she was very curious. How did you get my information? And he got her information from ChatGPT. So I know that we had a training in NAREB at one of the conferences. It's about feeding AI your information so that
Right.
you are in the algorithms and they're educated, the systems are educated about who you are and the services that you want to communicate in particular markets, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So very city specific. You know, some people are focused on cities because they live in large cities.
Right.
I'm in Northern California, so we have a lot of surrounding cities that are kind of clustered together. So
Yes.
we create, you know, branding in counties.
Hmm.
So all of those things in identifying those pieces are definitely, like you said, creating a footprint. So
Yes.
yeah.
Because you have one, whether you know it or not.
Hmm. And so part of this discussion is not only about branding, but it's the CEO Growth Series. So as a CEO, what is your messaging and branding as a leader
Mm.
in the leadership capacity?
I don't know um, what my messaging is in reference to one specific thing.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have a specific message. All I know is that be consistent, do what you have to do, stop being a secret agent. Okay. And that's one of the things that I teach my agents all the time, and I'm always talking to them about, and it drives them crazy. Stop being a secret agent, right? No one is not going to come save you. You having to save yourself, and they're not going to come and ring your doorbell. You know, back in the day, because I told y'all how old I was, right? They used to be a door-to-door salespeople. They're
Mhm.
not going to do that anymore because of all the security risk, COVID, all of the other stuff that has occurred, right? So you have to use these platforms and get your messages out. Okay. You cannot sit there and be like, AI is taking this and AI is taking that. AI is here. It's been here for the last 30 years. We just don't really have not noticed that. We're now being introduced a little bit more to it, but this technology has been there forever. And my
Mhm.
message to everyone that's listening to me is be authentic, be yourself, because nobody else can't be you. Just like our fingerprints, right? They're unique. I can't be you. I cannot be a good Rhea. Rhea is the best Rhea possible. I can only be Sharon Henry. And at the end of the day, just be authentic, be empathetic, be considerate, and love on people, and just, remember the golden rules. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you.
Definitely, definitely. And you mentioned earlier about your children purchasing real estate. As a leader, what impact do you want your voice and everything that you're doing to have on our next generation?
Buy, 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 buy.
Okay.
Buy all the land that you can. Okay. I know that you're listening to the news and it's telling you that the market is going to crash and all of this thing is going to happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Buy, buy, buy. Buy them and hold them. Okay. Do not sell. Don't sell grandma house. Okay. My trust, the Henry Trust, says that our grandchildren, their children's children, will have what my husband and I have worked so hard for and leaving. Our kids are going to be mad.
And that is part of, yeah, that's part of what legacy and leadership is about, because we can say bye, 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 but you mentioned an important piece, building the trust and setting what you're setting the blueprint for your next generation. And I
Oh, yeah.
feel so strongly about the blueprint because I think that we have you know, good intentions in generational wealth, but we have to really define what is generational wealth. What does that look like? What does that
Right.
mean? Because
Yes.
not everyone knows what that means and how to execute that. How do you
Yes.
execute generational wealth? And so you touched on that as a leader. You're showing your children that I'm leaving a legacy by my trust because my trust is telling y'all what to do.
Yes, the trust is going to direct, and it has the instructions to do what they need to do. But it's not only my kids, it's anybody. My husband sits there and he talks to any of these young people that come through these doors, anybody that comes through our doors. He pours into them and he talks to them not only about real estate, he talks to them about stocks, he talks to them about assets. He just talks to them and helps them because most people are not having these conversations with their kids. And I don't understand why we're not doing that, because we have one of the most powerful tools at our fingertips is our phone.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying thousands of dollars for these phones and we're not utilizing them the way that we're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
As a people, not everybody needs a trust, but that's another conversation that's not, on our topic today. But you need to find out, do you need a trust? When do you need a trust? Do you need a will? Everybody needs a will, so on and so forth. And people are thinking, I don't have anything to put in a will or a trust. Yes, you do,
Mm-hmm.
because they're coming for whatever you got or you think that
Right.
don't
And
have.
that's very important because you're branding yourself, you're branding your business, and now the leadership side of you is then creating the legacy to continue your brand and your business. So so thank you for definitely for sharing that. And I think that yeah, it's not talked about enough within the families, and I think it's really, I see it as just education, and that's part of our organization's mission is to
Yes.
educate, because the lack of education, the we're without the tools that we
Right.
need, and we don't know what we don't know. So that's why I'm so excited to be part of NAREB, being part of Women's Council, which is on the boots on the ground, because we have to provide those tools. We can't just assume that everybody knows what to do and what next steps to take in their lives. So, so as we move on, this is Women's Council, and I always like to talk about wellness, because as women, we go through so much, and we carry so much, but it's very important to remind ourselves about how we manage our lives, our health, our mental wellness. So, Sharon, how do you protect your mental wellness while maintaining a public presence?
It's a very touchy subject for me.
I know.
And it has gotten better because I didn't always do that, right?
Oh,
Because I was that person that I was there for everyone. If you look up strong in the dictionary, you probably see my face because it just gets tattooed there. But for me now, I don't answer the phone as much. I stop letting everyone's lack of preparation becomes my emergency.
mm,
Okay.
mm, clock it.
Yes. All right. Because you failed to prepare for something, now it becomes urgent to you and it becomes an emergency, and that's not my problem.
Right.
Okay. Um, I discovered this book called The Let Them Theory by
Mm-hmm.
Mel Robbins. If you have not read it, you need to, or listen to it. I want to meet her because she has definitely changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned to let them and let me go do what I've got to go do. Okay. I stopped taking things so personal. I used to think that everything they're talking about me, it was about me. Da, 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 da. Stop it. Ain't nobody thinking about you. And the fact, this is how I know this for a fact, because people would think, well, she's mad at me, or, you know, I'm not even thinking about you. I got so much other things on my plate, just as you said, right? I was a
Mhm.
caregiver for my mom for 25 years. Okay. I have my own immediate family. I've got stuff going on and I've got like 4 or 5 different businesses that I'm running. You don't, you don't have the capacity to be thinking about other people like that, but they think that you are, and vice versa. You take things so personally because you're thinking that that person is talking about you or it's about you, and it's not. Okay. So I've stopped taking things so personally. That's number one. I've not picked up the phone for the drama. Okay.
Mhm.
I've started protecting my peace when it comes to that. And if someone calls me and say, "Hey, Rita said this," or I don't want to even engage in that conversation, you
Mhm.
know, in reference to that. I walk a lot now and exercise, especially with my family, and I do a lot more family things. I go and I get massages and I go to the beach a lot,
Mhm.
a lot. I take a lot of vacations because I work a lot. And I'm not going to apologize for that.
Right.
So those are the things that I've been doing personally for myself and taking care of me, because being a caregiver for so long, you tend to forget about you
Mhm.
because you're always trying to fix everything else. And as
Right.
women in general, that's what we do, right? We're fixers, we're
Mhm.
nurturers. We want to fix everything and everybody and everything to be good. Well, we need to be good. We need to be good in order for us to be able to help someone else.
Do you feel like you've been ever had a challenge where you've been criticized for your online presence? And how did
Oh,
you handle that?
okay, so learning um, not to debate with somebody online. And that was also a learning experience, right? Because you don't want to do that. And because there are people that's going to antagonize you, right? And especially if they see that you're making some kind of traction or momentum. And they're just cyber bullies, okay? So I had a young lady, and it's probably still on my page because I'm not going to trip over it. She gave me a really nasty review, very nasty review. And it did not, the situation didn't happen the way that she made it seem, right? But, and automatically I'm thinking, respond, respond, respond to that. Okay. But that's what they
Protect
want you to
yourself.
do. They
Right.
want you to go down that rabbit hole. But I responded to it, the facts, and I left it alone.
Mhm.
I didn't go keep on going back and, engaging with that individual. That's not what you want to do.
Well,
You
that's when your character outweighs anything that anybody can say. I think in this industry, a lot of our customers have some of them will think that they have a privilege to having things go their way, and it's not always like that. And when it doesn't go their way, then it's an attack. And so I totally agree with you on letting it go. I've had to do that myself. And not even a customer, just random like attacks,
Yeah,
and I never forget, one thing that my stepfather told me a long time ago is like your character is going to outweigh anything that anybody can do to attack you.
and that's it. Okay. And to me, if the individual know you and know the type of person that you are, that's all that matters at the
Hmm.
end of the day.
Hmm.
Okay. And to me, it's like online, there's always going to be a bully, there's always going to be somebody, and that's what they do to get your attention. So if there's somebody there that's constantly doing what, and then there's another button that I love online. It's called delete.
Hmm.
Love it. Block.
All
The
right.
delete button, the block you, because again, remember what I said about social media being that's your house? You invite the people in. Not everybody gets to come inside. I
Hmm.
have events all the time at my house, and people can tell you they don't get to come inside the house. Uh-uh. You can come to the house, The party's on the outside of the house, but you don't get to come inside the house.
Hmm.
There's a difference. Okay. And just think about your page just like that. And if someone comes to your house and they're being rude, what do?
Right.
You ask them to
So,
leave.
right. So with that in mind, what do you think is a lesson that visibility has taught you about yourself?
Hmm. Being patient.
Hmm.
Um, I had to learn patience. And I also learned about myself that I know more than I thought that I know. Because,
Hmm.
we have a tendency of overthinking stuff, right? And no matter where you are in your career, someone else is behind you. So keep that in mind, right? Because you always have something that you could teach someone else. Because I always used to say to myself, why would someone want to interview me? Hence, right? Why would someone want to sit there and listen to me? Why would somebody want to come and take my class? Why would someone want to come in my webinar or something like that? Because I'm thinking, I don't have anything to share and I don't have anything to teach you. Well, I've learned that I have a lot to share and people are interested
Right. Right.
and you can find your audience. And no matter where you are in whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're selling candles, someone else want to learn how to sell those candles. So they're behind you. So make sure that you're open and always helping someone else.
Definitely. I learned that recently. A lot of times when I go out and speak, it's mostly real estate related. But I was recently at a women's conference, and I thought, I think I'll change it up. It's a women's conference. I'll talk more about personal experience than just that power of real estate or asset acquisition. And I realized that usually it's like, nobody wants to hear my story, and
Yes, you do.
oh my gosh, I still run into people to this day that mention something that I said in that conference. And
Yes,
it was like an aha moment, like, oh, like there's another purpose, right? It's not
Rhea,
just
same
real
thing that
estate.
just happened. Yeah, you have a story. The same thing just literally just happened to me last week. I was invited as a speaker to speak, and they gave us the questions, and I had all my questions ready, my answers. I was prepared.
Right.
Okay. I sat in the audience because there was a speaker before us, and there was a panel that I was going to be on. And the speaker before me, it looks like they gave her the same questions because she repeated everything that I was going to talk about on my paper. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible.
Right.
So we went up there and they said, they were like, introduced us, blah 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 blah, and started talking. And I just busted out laughing, and they were like, what's going on?" And I said, "So thank you to the speaker that was before us." I said, "You can just go ahead now and take my paper because everything that I was going to say, she just said, right?" And they started cracking up. I was like, no, I'm serious. You could just,
Right.
I could just leave now, right?
Right.
And they were like, oh my gosh, you're so funny. I was like, no, I wasn't trying to be funny. Okay. But anyway, it worked out amazing because I didn't worry about the paper. I just answered the questions and from my heart, and I gave it a personal spin. And when I tell you that when I got off that stage, women from every walk of life, every color, different things came up to me. They were hugging me. They were crying. They were trying to take pictures with me. It was like, I was like, okay, what just happened?
Right.
Because I did exactly what I told you guys to do. Be authentic, be you. And then another thing too, Are you the same persona, same person online or and when you're offline?
Right.
That's important
Right.
because if I meet you online, your online presence, and when I meet you in person and you're acting weird and you're being a weirdo, that's a problem. Okay? If you're this bubbly, sweet, animated character online, when I meet you in person, I need you to do the same thing.
Right, right. No, that is
Okay?
so true because so people, the people have may have followed you for so long, they actually feel like they know you. I had an experience where this woman came up, it was like, Rhea, and it's like, her husband was like, look at Rhea. And I'm like, have I met this woman? She's hugging me. I'm like, okay. And it was all from online. So you have to remember that you are creating a connection. And if
Yes.
you're
They know
authentic,
your husband's name.
people
They
are
know
real.
your,
Yes,
yes, they
yes.
know my grandson's name
You are
because
an auntie. You are a cousin. You are part of the family now.
you're it. You're it. Everybody, they know Trey and they know Maverick.
Right.
And Maverick is the gardener now. He's the mechanic. He's just they from he was born. Now that he's almost 2 and they know him. They're watching his journey. So they feel that they know you. And whenever I walk into a space, that's the first thing that people goes, how is Maverick?
Right.
And I'm like, he is great.
Right. 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 That's the power of social media and the internet now is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't act weird. That's all I've got
No,
to say is that be the same person, right? What that you are online. Don't when I see you, you're like, okay. And then you're on your phone or you're like,
right.
okay. Antisocial is like, that's not the person that I like online.
Right. Because they may be coming up to you with your next deal and they're like, well, she didn't
Yeah.
give me that energy
Right.
anymore. So so Sharon, what is next for you as far as your brand, your voice? Where do you see yourself going as a CEO of your business moving forward?
What's next for me? I've I have a book that I'm trying to publish
Okay.
if I ever get it out of my head.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Just continuing to elevate my brand and just the face of who my brand is and to my audience, right? Because in all jokes aside, you are your product. You are, you are you're not selling a pen. You're not selling that house. You're selling you.
Mhm.
Okay. So for me, it's just learning how to continue doing that, being consistent and just getting my messages out there and just hone in on my avatar, the person that I'm trying to talk to, the people that I'm trying to help, right? I also have a nonprofit, which is called Jocelyn's House. And at Jocelyn's House, we help young people from 13 to 35 to get their budget together, their financial life. But after 35, to whenever there is a space at our house, our physical location that women, but it's only for women, that women can actually live and to stay until they get themselves together, right? So
Mhm.
that's my biggest focus for right now in
Mhm.
reference to my brand, my everything, because that's part of my legacy. And Jocelyn's house is named after my mom. And I want to make sure that her name lives forever, you know, and hopefully, because we all have to do things in life. Eventually, we will die, and we have to pay taxes. Well, that's another subject in itself right now because I'm not paying any more taxes. But anyway, but in all seriousness, I want when I leave here that I've left an impact and an imprint in someone's heart and they remember that I was on this earth, and they remember that I was a good person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I will spend the rest of my life making sure that I leave my legacy and my impact and my imprint on the people that I come across, whether
Mm-hmm.
they're online or offline. So that's what I'm doing. I
Love to
hope
hear it.
that was
Yeah, I love to hear that. And I think that just, basically it's not a surprise because I think that being of purpose and just seeing you of what I know from you, it's just amazing how you show up. And I appreciate you for taking this time with us to, you know,
welcome.
be open about your journey as well as your goals and your impact. I know it's helped me. I know it will definitely help someone else, even outside of the real estate industry. And so I want to thank you on behalf of the Women's Council of NAREB for coming on and joining us for the CEO Growth Series. And I look forward to seeing you in person again soon at a NAREB event in the near future.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And if you're listening to this and if you're in real estate and you're not a part of Women's Council, you need to join. Okay.
Definitely, definitely. Women's Council is the boots on the ground. We are doing the community work and running our businesses at the same time. And one thing that is very important to note about Women's Council is it's not only just impacting the community, but also impacting, uplifting, and supporting the women that we are associated with that are in business because it's such an important vehicle for us to move forward and having that support because only women know what women go through, right? And
Oh,
so
for sure.
yeah. And so, some men say, why is there a women's council? I'm like, well, have you have you tried to give a presentation with fibroids? Like,
Right. That part. Yes.
there's so many
Menopause.
aspects of,
Yeah.
you're right,
So much
menopause.
going on. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah,
thank
but thank
you,
you.
Madam
Thank
Rihanna. I
you.
appreciate you. And thank you and for your leadership and what you're doing for this organization as well. And
I
I can't wait to watch you in your journey up the ladder.
thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
all. And I'll see everyone on our next episode of the CEO Growth Series.